Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first episode of the Juice Podcast. There might be some hiccups, but hey, it's all about learning. Anywho, I'm your host, Jose Peña, and welcome to the Juice Podcast. Before we stock up on the juice, I'll get ahead on how we will do things here. So, the podcast will be every second and fourth Sunday. How long? Well, it depends. Probably about 30 minutes to an hour. So how will I do things? First, every interview will be pre-recorded either on Discord or in an alternate media that can record audio. Second will be post-edit and upload the recording on Anchor or to any podcasting apps or on YouTube. So links will be in the description below. Without further ado, let's head on to the episode. So, why did I start the podcast? Well, podcasting really got stuck to my head because I really do like thinking about new ideas and the probability of things coming into light, or the ifs and whens. But it all came down when I was in Singapore. Back when we were there, every time that there was a academic work, there would always be time for reflection. Every end of the page, you would have reflections that you have to do. Even after school events, especially leadership training events, you'd always have it. Thinking back, I even remember trying to finish it as fast as I could just to get through with it. But later down the line, it got to me that when you reflect on something, no matter what you do, you have two things. One, that you have space for yourself from the present and the reality. Why is it that important? Because we need to ground ourselves in a sense that we do not look at it with just our point of view. We look at it from another perspective to make sense of what happened and what will happen. Yes, the past may affect the present and the future, but the reality is that your actions now will affect you in the future events that you have. Only limit it to what you can do and how you can achieve. Be realistic and do it. If it fails, then go back, see what you could change, and start again. This leads me to my second point. Second, you give yourself time on being soaked with all that happened. Now, this proves my thoughts on being grounded. From what I could understand is that to be grounded, you do not first put yourself in a higher position of dominance or lower yourself to the point you are being bullied or overpowered. To be grounded, in my world, is to be calm and collective, especially under pressure. Because if you do not see your problem eye to eye and not face it, you either make it more mistakes that later makes it worse, but that depends on how you handle it. Or you just hurt yourself in the process, which is never good. You have to be there in the present and get yourself soaked to all the information that you could absorb and decide how you would act on it. After learning this way, it stuck to me that reflecting is really a part of life, a never ending process of mistakes and learning. Even when you're sitting down, would instantly click on you to make you think or have this imagination or placing yourself in a meditative state of having this deep thought on something you really never realized to think about. This can happen outside the shower too. Funny, because those thoughts that I have is what I wanted to keep. The thoughts inside my head when I shower or sit down on the toilet bowl thinking, reflecting. It is really interesting, that many ideas comes from silence. It is not the heart that mostly speaks, but of the mind. Who have thought that ideas comes from silence, eh? Like, can you come up with something that you can benefit while there is like loud, disturbing noises around you? Well, if there is, then you have some incredible mental skills there. But I'm confident when the time comes to you, even if it's something that involves the lives of people or something that people will depend on, is really a big responsibility. Yet, always remember that silence is the power to let you think. No matter how crazy or ingenious your idea is, it might work, but depends on the situation at hand and how you handle it. That is how powerful our mind is. From the greater void to something that we can grasp and use for the better. Because to get something out of nothing is really an ability that anyone can do. No matter what it is, it has to be beneficial to you, or the people around you, or both. But to create something that is destructive, it's not a life that you want to live. Because here's the thing. One thing that I learned while I was at Singapore studying, there are certain tasks in life that you cannot do it alone. Simple tasks you can do alone, yes. But after that, the difficult it gets, you just cannot do it alone. Why? Humans are designed to be social creatures. They are not designed to work alone. Have you seen a small ant, a small worker ant, doing its job alone? No. Only simple tasks, yes, but they are never alone. In life, you should always have that kind of person that you should have always. And never lose that person. Be it family, your relatives, your friends, your brothers or sister, even your significant other can be that person. In this big world full of people, there is always that person you could go up to and share how you feel. Sometimes it's difficult to overcome the anxiety, the fear that we would be rejected. I've experienced that kind of fear too. The fear that no one would like us. But you know what? What you should say to that? Go in silence. Go in silence. Give those people some space. Give yourself space. If you feel that they are not going to be good to you, you distance yourself. Don't be a fool and continue what you are doing with that person. No, have some time with yourself, first and foremost. Because if you place yourself in silence, everything you will find, there will always be that voice that always tells you, go, you can do it. Do not do it for yourself. Do not do it for others. Do it because it is good and it makes you feel happy. Because to tell you the truth, I've been there at times where I felt that everything will be forgotten. It is true, yes, everything will be forgotten materially, but through the hearts and minds that you touch, you will receive the most sensational feeling that you could ever feel. It is better than alcohol, better than drugs, or anything in the world. The truth of this fact, it is all about the joy of making others feel joy, happiness. There is nothing like it. Joy. Imagine how amazing that would be. From the silence in your heart comes out an idea that makes others feel joy. Because through the silence, you think. Sometimes it may seem dark, yes, but sometimes it might sound ridiculous, but there will be that urge of sharing, that yearning that calls you to voice out what your mind and heart says collectively. And when you share that moment of thought to a person, majority of the time, if it is the right person, you experience that joy. That feeling of the heavy burden that you have, it will be lifted. And you know what? It also lifts the burden of that person too. That is when your mind and your heart joins together. Yes, the mind works in different ways compared to the heart. Same goes for the heart. But if you experience enough, both the mind and the heart, it forms a greater bond, thus leading to a more resilient person. That is why, in my opinion, silence can be a powerful tool that you can have. Because when you keep going, you reflect on the reality of the situation. You choose the most logical and beneficial for the situation. In turn, makes you develop into a person of character. And when you reflect, you have this urge to share, either writing them down or doing a podcast like this. And when you share this to the right person, you must trust that. And there is a chance that they will trust you too. But don't you dare to be open to people who don't want it. Because they can use it against you in the end. But that is the ground that we walk. But always remember this: choose the person you are closest to, not the person you think that you might be close. You have to make sure, because when you open yourself to these people, you are giving yourself to them. So be careful on the path that you tread. Stay strong and resilient in your path. Experiencing the mystery of life is a wonder that we have not found the formula yet. But a joy that nobody can give, only through the heart and the mind combined, then there is joy. That is why I wanted to make this podcast series, because I want to share my thoughts on my life and the experiences through it. For to receive, one has to give. Maybe or maybe not, you might be inspired through this podcast. I want you to go out and share this to a person who might need this. I hope you too was inspired or motivated to do something today. So what I want you to do, go in silence. Think, pray, and listen to what your heart and your mind would say. And maybe you have something that you could do to make your life become much more better than it is now. That's your juice for today. See you on the next one.